Okay, so first match I'm going to look over. I know you haven't played like ranked in a little over like about a week or so, but I'm going to still use ranked matches as a basis to look at these. So, anyways, first match, I know it's obvious watching this footage that like the main issue is no anti-airs. But there's a couple other points that I wanted to pull from this Zangief match. First of all, I've been doing this for all of my VOD reviews, where I measure all of the players' options that they do when they have a mix-up scenario where they have plus frames and can like throw the opponent or something. And I was going to say that generally, so your success rate off of this set with Zangief was you got 6 offensive plays that were successful out of 17 total opportunities, which is about 35%. Now that is exactly like where we want it to be, 35% or more. For instance, like if you look at like a Punk match, he's hitting around 45-50% of successfully opening up the opponent on offensive opportunities or plays, or successfully stealing turns, etc. So 35% is good. So that tells me that your offense is not the issue here. Rather, or well, it doesn't necessarily say that, but it doesn't tell me that you're not mixing up the opponent adequately. So that's not the issue here. That would be obvious. Watching this footage, it's very obvious that the anti-airs are the big problem, but anyways, so we start this match. Now this Zangief anti-airs basically every single time. Normal jumps or dive kicks, jumps at relatively close range, etc. So I'm going to just go over the major points. Now, no anti-airing is obvious, but let's say, but there's more under the surface that you could have also been doing here that is less obvious, okay? So, weak jumping, he was ready to anti-air every single time. There's one point later on at which point you jump and he anti-airs with EX Lariat, as he should be, but he burns himself out in the process, and he was quite close to the corner. Now, getting anti-aired by Zangief's EX Lariat, if he burns himself out, it's not that bad, because without Drive Rush, he won't get Oki off of his EX Lariat anti-air. And especially if he's quite close to the corner, the burnout, I would say, is broadly worthwhile for Cammy, even if you take the full damage of his EX Lariat anti-air, which is quite a lot of damage for an anti-air. So, I will explain in a minute, once we go over this match footage, what I mean by better jumping. But anyways, so let's continue going over this footage. The next note is standing heavy punch and a minus 3 on block, so I believe that's after. So this, you did crouch strong drive rush and a crouch heavy punch. I don't disagree with this. I think, you know, him doing the stand heavy punch through it is just information for you, but I don't think this was a mistake. One anti-air, nice stealing the turn. Okay, this is my first note. You do standing heavy punch into this medium kick. Now at this range, I don't see, like, when you're at any range like this, I would say you're defaulting, your buttons should default to standing jab or maybe standing medium punch, but most frequently stand light punch. Alright, so after you do the stand heavy punch, etc., just do light punch, maybe light kick, maybe stand medium punch, or if you expect the opponent to respect you, maybe crouch medium kick, etc., if you have enough drive gauge to drive rush cancel it. But I don't like this stand medium kick. It would have left you open to him pressing a button on the minus 3 because it's an 8-framer. It would have left you open to getting his stand heavy punch armor, etc. And yeah, that was, so this is a button that you want to be defaulting to at a much further space away. Okay, that just happenstance. And then no anti-air in the jump. But this is my next note. The thing about this is that you don't anti-air a lot of the jumps. Some of the jumps he gets on block, like this, and but some of them he gets on hit because he realizes that you're not anti-airing, so he jumps even more frequently, and then he goes over some of your buttons and gets punish counters on some of your buttons. But my note for here is that you held up after blocking his jumping heavy punch, and then you got hit by his headbutt. My note for this is that to understand Zangief, you have to think about what the Zangief player is doing, okay? So, for the Zangief player, what is an easier input, forward heavy punch or the full 360 input for the SPD? If they do a jump in, they don't know what's going to happen, okay? Same with forward medium kick. If the Zangief does forward medium kick, most of the time, they don't know what's going to happen at the end of that forward medium kick or the end of that forward jump. Maybe they'll get anti-aired, maybe they'll land their thing on block and they'll have to do something else. Maybe they'll land it on hit and they'll just convert into a combo. Because they don't know what's going to happen, what spacing they'll be at, whether or not they'll get hit at all, especially when they do forward medium kick, they don't know if they're going to be plus or minus until it actually completes. If it's too close, it'll be like -3. If it's far away, it'll be like +1, 2, or 3, or whatever. So when they do those actions that they don't know the outcome until it completes, it is quite unlikely that the Zangief will be SPDing you right afterwards, because SPD is a complex input that requires mental preparation to do, and when they don't, and off of certain actions where they don't know what the outcome will be until it happens, they won't be preparing themselves to do the SPD input, okay? So you will notice any, like, relatively weak Zangief player, until you get to strong Zangief players, like 1700 MR or stronger, it is incredibly rare for a Zangief player to do a jump in on block into an SPD right away. When you actually look at all the match footage, Zangief players of a lower level than that almost never do SPD, because they're not prepared to do that input off of those situations. So be aware of that. Weak Zangief players, or at least not particularly strong Zangief players, not very strong Zangief players, they will not be ready to SPD you in a variety of situations. For one, after they do a jump in, they will not be prepared to do the SPD input, and they would also have to manually time it so that they don't do it too early while you're still in the block stun of the jump in, right? So it is very rare for a weak Zangief player to SPD you there. It's very rare for a weak Zangief player to SPD you after a plus on block knee, forward medium kick, and it's very rare for a Zangief player to SPD you after walking forwards for a knockdown, which will happen later. There's an instance where you get hit, and then the Zangief player walks forwards, and then you jump back and you get hit, but walking forwards and then into a full 360 SPD input is quite difficult to do. Most weak Zangief players, they do SPDs off of situations that they can prepare ahead of time, right? They do forward heavy punch, and then they pump the SPD input during that gap, or they do forward dash and then they pump the SPD input, or they do an empty jump, not a jump in, but they empty jump SPD. They do things where they have a lot of time to just do the 360 input while they're doing something else, so they can just let it rip, because they're not comfortable doing it when they only have a moment to see the circumstances or to do the execution for it. So understanding where it's easier or harder for a Zangief player to do SPD will make defending against them a lot easier. So I would say there was no need to jump here after blocking this jump in. There was no need to hold up here. He was not going to SPD you. He was never going to do that. Okay, same here. He's walking forwards, okay? He's walking forwards. It is quite difficult to do a walk forwards into a very fast SPD. I do not think this Zangief player is capable of doing that, so there was no reason to not block here. My other note, and this is just broadly applicable, but you can drive reversal more frequently. Sometimes you can do the wake-up drive reversal, and you can do, if you block a jump in, do a late drive reversal on the block stun of his jump in, and I will explain once we get back into training mode after watching this footage. I will explain why that makes sense against Zangief. Okay. Getting hit after blocking jump-ins, it's unnecessary to hold back, etc. Abuse your drive gauge more with crouch medium punch DRC. In these instances, where you have 5 or more bars, etc., you can definitely afford to do more walk forwards, crouch medium kick, drive rush in. Or just raw drive rush with crouch light kick. This Zangief player, like, almost never hits buttons in footsies. He's just waiting to anti-air, and to his credit, he anti-airs you very, very reliably. See there. Unnecessary for you to hold up. Now, he didn't do something that was very threatening here, but it was unnecessary for you to hold up, because again, weaker Zangief players are not going to be prepared. It's much easier to just see that they got the plus on block and then do crouch light kick instead of do the full 360 input. Okay, there. I do actually agree with his neutral jump here, holding neutral jump while he's hitting you with those light kicks, because if he tried to reset you into SPD, this would have been good. That being said, you would have needed to react and air-to-air him off of this neutral jump. Now, air-to-airs when you're both jumping at the same time is a bit of a toss-up, because there's no way that you can guarantee that you're going to react faster than your opponent will, since you're both not expecting to meet each other in the air. But I would say try to practice this scenario so that you can react to, put like some scenario in training mode where the opponent will randomly jump at you, and try reacting to air-to-airs when you're already neutral jumping to improve your sharpness there. But yes, I agree with this neutral jump, but then you did not air-to-air him correctly. Alright, this scenario, I have no criticisms of anything you do, of much of what you do after this point. This is just guessing, really, at this point. Yeah, so that's fine. I don't think there's any major mistakes there. That's just guessing and reacting to stuff, which is difficult in that position. Everything else that you could have done better was before that point. Alright, next. Alright, my next notes for this game is second game. Yes, make sure the Zangief player can actually SPD you in these circumstances. And then it looks like there's a couple bad combos here in this match are things that particularly hurt you. Anyways, your offense, pretty reliable. Again, your success rate on offense is not at issue here. Your offense looks good, generally. You did this in a heavy knuckle and he did DI. I don't think that was a mistake on your end. It's just bad luck plus gives you information for what the opponent's likely to do on defense. But yeah, I don't think you made a mistake there. Okay, there, you get hit multiple times by getting like knockdowns into back tech into walking backwards. That one should have hit you, but he messed up his meaty. But he will hit you multiple times with that, I think here, and then another one right away. So again, in these instances, maybe he could have SPD'd you here. I would say no, because the thing about this is that he's actually very plus here off of this EX Lariat. So the thing about this is that this is also quite difficult for a Zangief player to manually time an SPD to meet you, because they can't just do a dash and then pump the SPD to let it rip immediately. They have to wait for the SPD, which means they still have to do either a delayed SPD, which requires buffering the input, which is higher execution, or a walk forwards SPD, which is also higher execution. So again, I don't think a weaker Zangief player is, I don't think until you get to like particularly strong Zangief players that you should be worried about SPD unless they prove that they can do it in that circumstance. So again, here, I don't think there's a reason to worry about SPD here, so just block. Same with there, he couldn't even reach SPD there, so just block. Okay, another bad air-to-air. No air-to-air. Alright, this, okay, you get two big errors here. Well, okay, you get three bad combo routings here. One is not converting this into standing heavy punch, or back heavy kick would have actually been perfect here, but I wouldn't have expected you to be able to do that, because that would rely on you having pinpoint precise understanding of your super gauge. Back heavy kick into jump level 2 would have been the absolute perfect thing to do here, but you would have had to be I don't know many Kami players that would be that ready for this situation to know that one more hit would give them level 2. But at least standing heavy punch into the normal combo. And so the fact that this was not a completion is a big drop in the match, because it would have given you the corner, would have given you significantly more drive gauge advantage. You would have built up back to like here and drive gauge, and you would have had all the screen to work with. So this is the biggest missed opportunity of the match. He could have killed you there, but again, I would expect only a particularly high-level Zangief player to be able to react to this and do a jump EX air SPD here, which would have killed you. And then there, he should have killed you again. And again, there was no reason to jump here because he was walking forwards. It's quite difficult to walk forwards into meaty SPD. Off of your perfect parry, you do this. Now, I would say for perfect parry, almost every single time when you get a perfect parry, just do stand heavy punch into heavy knuckle, into light kick, into spiral arrow for the knockdown. The reason why I say that, or rather stand light punch rather than light kick, but anyways, do the stand heavy punch punish counter combo because the heavy punch will deal the most drive gauge damage to him on punish counter. And also, at this point, damage is worthless because it's perfect parry, so all the damage is scaled. So just take the better corner carry of the standing heavy punch into heavy knuckle combo. And I would say that's, like, almost entirely universal. Like, almost every single time you get a perfect parry, just do the same combo. Standing heavy punch, heavy knuckle, etc. Alright, I don't know what you did there. Maybe another walk-up throw or something, but anyways. And then you get another combo later on that's fine, but not as good as it could have been. I think it's pretty close here. Yeah. So you do neutral jump, and then you're worried about the spacing, so you do crouching medium kick, which was the right decision. Now here, the ideal combo is not obvious because you're not close enough for some of the other things that you might have been able to go to, and you're at full drive gauge and full super. But I would have said the right combo here would have been to do level 3. So drive rush, crouch heavy punch, stand heavy punch, charge heavy uppercut, level 3 would have been the right combo. I would say broadly, there is never a reason to do stand heavy punch into the target combo into level 1. Literally no scenario where that's the right thing to do. Because the heavy punch target combo, every single hit of the target combo will scale your damage further. As you can see, the scaling is already down to 42%. And it's going to be at 30% when this super hits, so... And it doesn't give you any more corner carry than doing just the medium spiral arrow. So there's no merit to ever doing this standing heavy punch target combo into level 1. So yes, I would have said do a level 3 route there. I like that bait. Worried about the level 3, obviously. And then an anti-air, but he burnt himself out. Now, you're quite close to death, which makes this dangerous. But the burnout, as well as your super gauge, makes this still totally viable to win this back. Now, getting hit by that, instead of blocking this one out. Now, again, then if you had blocked even one of these crouching heavy kicks that he does on meaty, like, over and over and over... you could have guaranteed punished him and then gotten Oki from that. Now, this is always going to be dangerous because he could wake up level 3 or level 3 at any moment, which makes, you know, comebacks quite difficult, but... I like some of this. There is better, like, routing that you could do for drive gauge, and I will actually show you a sequence that you could have done when he's in burnout that would have been better. But yes, I will explain some of Cammy's burnout pressure. So when you get crouching medium punch like this, anyway, I'll show you in training mode what you could have done. So you had like 3.5 bars of drive gauge. I will demonstrate what you could have done instead. So you do that. Now, this is the next biggest error in the match. You drop this combo, which could have gone into level 3, or rather CA, since you're in CA range, and it would have been very, very good. And also, there was no reason to do this drive rush cancel. It would have been better to do just a meterless combo, even if you hadn't dropped it. So after that, nothing that happens after this point really matters, and I think you just die not too long after this. Oh, right. You did this sick fucking anti-air. This was fucking awesome. That was excellent. But anyways, yeah. Now, there's, like, a couple of other things you could have done while you're in burnout. I think the mid pokes like that, standing medium kick, or anything that is like vulnerable to DI is quite risky, and I think you should spend most of burnout like neutral jumping or like moving around, like backdashing and pumping level 1 in case he does something you can react to. But yeah. Alright, now let's go to training mode, and I will explain some of these points. Okay, my first thing to explain in training mode is weak jumping. So now, the ways that you can improve your jumping, one is like the sharpness of dive kicks. So here, I'll go back to Zangief, and so there's a particular distance where dive kick is much harder for Zangief to deal with. So at this range, not a problem. However, if you get closer, so EX dive kick would be better. So if you're like close in on him and then you do something like that, it would be more difficult for him to do that. At the speed at which he's likely to react, it would probably counter hit like that. But anyways, EX Lariat is going to be quite difficult to get around. Your jump game, your dive kicks would have to be very precise, and you'd sometimes have to throw in EX dive kicks, also at a very precise angle. Against Zangief, you would want to aim your dive kicks closer to him. So jump at a closer distance than you would normally dive kick against most characters, so that your dive kicks hit a little bit sooner, and that way you can shut down his anti-airs a bit better. Other than that, the way that you improve your jumps is by, so the weakest jumps that you can do is just like being here and then just like jumping, you know, like being in a place where you clearly want to win neutral and then just being at a jump in range and then just jumping like that. Okay, the thing about jumping is that you can drastically improve the success rate of your jumps by changing how you move on the ground before you jump. So, like, I do this practice with like, okay, so I was like doing a training session with another one of the guys, like last week or something, and he set the dummy to training mode where he would like randomly move around and then sometimes jump, and then I replaced the dummy and I did random movements and then jumps, and to demonstrate how better movement, like you can use specific movements to make it much harder to react to jump-ins, and then his anti-air rate became much less successful because you can move in ways that are quite tricky. And do stuff like this. So any little tiny movement like this will imply something about what you're actually looking for. And the opponent will react to it, react to your movement or something. So the way you can do this is by doing, it's a combination of one, doing sharp movements that distract the opponent for a little bit, and then very suddenly jumping, like cutting out an animation that they think that they're going to wait for before you do something next, or by cutting through a smooth animation like this. So like jumping from quite close to the opponent, but more so doing sharp movements like this, but then suddenly cutting out the backwards walk cycle with a forward jump. There's various ways that you can use the animations and the way that the opponent's eyes will look at the animations against them to make your jumps trickier and harder to react to. It's kind of hard to explain exactly how, but the more you try to like play with your jump ins and stuff, so I would say cutting off animations or doing like twitchy movements like this before jumping will make it significantly harder for them to react to the start of a jump. Alright, next is, so that's how you can get better, more successful jumps. Alright, next is, general note. Yeah, just general note, I guess. Okay, so this, what did I feel like I said I was going to talk about something else. But anyway, so, as a general note, people usually think that, like, okay, so drive reversal after, like, 14 frames. So after you block a jump in, do a delayed drive reversal, and then if he goes for something, you'll get him off of you, right? And then if he baits it out, so one thing is that this could be baited out with a neutral jump. Zangief players never do this, okay? Zangief player, his jump is pretty slow, and he can SPD you anyway, so he doesn't shimmy very often. This is very rare for a Zangief player to do this, okay? So most of the time, if he's going to block you... Oh, also, if he jumps from very close, like here, he is too close for him to walk backwards and shimmy you. Which means that, so if you do, like, for example, if I were to do a delay throw, like a normal throw. Oh, wait. Block reversal. Normal throw at a delay. Wait, no. At a delay of like 7 frames. So, delay tech. Like that. It's very rare that a Zangief player will walk backwards and shimmy you because his walk speed, it's not like slow, and he's very plus off of these, but like Zangief players don't really do this. And if he's just like plus right in your face like this, it can in certain circumstances be hard for him to trick you into doing a tech, because he either has to walk back so early that it's obvious that he's walking backwards, or if he's quite close to you when he could throw, and then he starts walking backwards, he won't be able to get outside of throw range. But anyways, the more important point is that it's rare for Zangief to do things that will avoid the drive reversal unless he specifically looks for it, like that. And even then, a lot of people think, oh, don't drive reversal against Zangief because his punish damage on it is like one of the highest in the game. But the way you have to think about it is, compare this to other characters, right? If I go to like Kimberly, okay? Kimberly's punish damage. So if you don't drive reversal, the worst you're going to take is like a throw. And her throw does like 1,100 damage. Like nothing. Okay? So the worst you're going to take is that. But if you drive reversal, you actually risk a lot, because she has a very high drive reversal, high damage drive reversal punish. So you go from taking 1,080 damage to 3,060 damage. Okay, so 3 times worse, and the combo puts you in a much worse scenario. Whereas against Zangief, his punishes against drive reversal won't give him Oki. He either does that, which gives him as bad of Oki as he would normally get, or he gets that, which gives him normal, like, post-SPD Oki, which is not, like, the strongest. So, he has to do this. How much worse is this than what you normally take? So, for Kimberly, it's 3 times worse. You risk 3 times more damage by doing drive reversal than you would by just taking the mix. But against Zangief, you risk 3,300 damage in this scenario, whereas if you do the drive reversal, you risk 3,800. So you risk about 500 damage added, which, so rather than 3 times more damage like with Kimberly, you only take a bit more damage and you lose like the bar of drive gauge, the 2 bars of drive gauge plus the additional bar for the punish counter SPD, which is significantly less. So yes, you take a lot of damage if you're wrong, but you also take a lot of damage if you're wrong if you don't do drive reversal. So drive reversal is very good if you like block a jump in or like block a headbutt or something. Delay drive reversal, wake up drive reversal, you're not actually risking that much more than you're risking already just by being in a guessing situation against Zangief. And also, here's the thing. He can't punish it with raw level 3, because raw level 3 is 7 frames. Never mind. So, yeah. Alrighty, so this next one. Again, if we go to my notes, your success rate on offensive mix is very high, 41% in this match, which is very, very, very good. So, you're you know, that doesn't apply to all of your offense, like your conversions or, you know, your aggressiveness or certain things, but it implies that your mix is very effective. So anyways, first notes in this match. Combo optimization opportunities. Honestly, this is kind of a moot point here, and this is a niche scenario, but at least when you land a hit at the start and you have full drive gauge, you might as well spend it on a drive rush cancel of some kind. Technically, this is a niche scenario, but the optimal combo here would be jump, and then rather than doing jump medium punch, do an EX dive kick. So it would be jump into this, do this into back medium punch target combo, then jump EX dive kick without the jump medium punch, then light spiral arrow into the corner, and then heavy uppercut. Would have been the most optimal for resources. But this is fine, it's no issue. Okay, this is my second note. This happens a couple of times. When you are deliberately baiting, waiting for reversal or something, when you shimmy up to a certain distance or block low at a certain distance like that, practice training mode scenarios where you like shimmy, you react, you don't do anything if they just sit there and block, you hit standing medium punch and punish them optimally if they whiff a throw, you punish their EXDP if they do a wake up DP, and if they tap parry, walk up and throw it. So create those 4 scenarios and make sure that you're reacting to each of those things effectively. React to the whiff throw and react to the tap parry by walk up and throw punishing it. Bad anti-airs are going to be throughout this entire match, so that's whatever. This is my next scenario to talk about. Even if you had blocked the jump in or anything, don't tech throws here. Just don't. Like, almost never tech a throw in this circumstance. After a jump in especially, this is going to be the opposite of what I said in the Zangief matchup, but after a jump in especially, when you have the opponent cornered, hold up back. Because it'll be harder for the opponent to frame trap you here, and if they go for a throw or a neutral jump or a shimmy or something, you'll escape with a jump backwards. I believe this happens like 3 times throughout this short set of fighting this Ryu, where he jumps and then he either does he usually doesn't throw right afterwards. I don't think he's confident in his timing, but yeah, you tend to tech immediately afterwards and you get hit most of the time, because either neutral jumps, shimmies, or just hits another attack that counter hits you because you mistimed your delay tech. So anyways, don't tech in this circumstance where you block a jump in and you have the opponent cornered. I understand you don't want to get back thrown, but avoid the throw or the high damage of the neutral jump shimmy by walking backwards, and if he strikes you, so be it. He can't get a very effective side switch. At least Ryu can't. Alright, in this circumstance, no, this one's fine. Okay. This one, fine, fine, fine. Okay, this is my next note. This happens like twice, I think, maybe 3 times. He does light in close proximity to you. Which light did he do into it? I think he did a jab. No, he did light kick. But anyways, this is -11. You can almost always punish this when he cancels off of his lights with crouching heavy kick. So crouching heavy kick to punish that. That's fine. Bad combo. Messed up the combo. Should have done either a drive rush cancel to extend it, or yeah, just complete the combo with medium spiral arrow and then taking drive rush Oki would have been better. Another scenario where you drive rush and then into a quick stop to bait would have been good to walk up and throw punish his with parry. thanks to the changes in Season 2, it's not that hard to do. You don't have to react very quickly or anything, but it put it into training mode so that you can practice reacting to those with parries. Alright, so anyways, yeah, punish Ryu, light high blade kick with crouch heavy kick, multiple combos mistakes, take drive rush Oki after forward throw, win on the good half of the stage. Oh, right, this is going to happen afterwards. So that one, you could probably punish it. There's like a certain distance where maybe you can't. I'm not entirely sure for Cammy specifically. You might want to test that in training mode. You might be able to punish it every single time with level 1, which is a 9-frame startup super. But I would test that in training mode. That was good. All this is good. Now, you're on low on drive gauge, but I think if you're on the good half of the screen, especially if you're on a good third or quarter of the screen where the opponent's cornered, it's fine to spend drive gauge even when you're putting it yourself at very low and even sometimes burning yourself out. So I would have still taken Drive Rush Oki here. That being said, the problem with... I'll talk about this later, but the problem with Drive Rush Oki here is that you have to do very deliberate things to avoid him doing EXDP here. So, not taking Drive Rush Oki is fine. It's your prerogative, it's your choice, and it kind of depends on the opponent you're fighting. But anyways. Yeah, all this is fine. That's fine. Oh, this is an instance where I would have recommended parry on Wake Up. Not every single time, you can't parry these circumstances, but Ryu will never be able to get a meaty throw here. He'll have to drive rush and then wait and then throw you like 10 frames later or something with a 10-frame gap. So when characters drive rush Oki across the screen in a way that they can't get a meaty throw, you should parry on Wake Up like pretty frequently. Not all the time, but pretty frequently. This is also a circumstance where... Yeah, anyways. So yes, throw more, Wake Up parry when the opponent can't get a meaty throw with drive rush when you're in mid-screen or when you're close to the corner or whatever. Alright, you get a neutral jump off of something here. No, next round you do. Right. Okay, right here you get a neutral jump, which is good. He throws out a lot of these moves, so neutral jump is very good against those. And you convert, but you had level 2, and you're close to getting level 3, and you had about full drive gauge. I will explain the combo later, but I would have recommended a 4-bar combo, 4 drive gauge bars with a level 2. That would have put him in the corner, and I will demonstrate what that combo was when we go into training mode. Nice bait. When you block EXDPs, punish them with neutral jump heavy kick. Alright? It'll give you slightly more damage and slightly more damage to the opponent's drive gauge if you do neutral jump heavy kick. That will, and you can punish almost every EXDP in the game with neutral jump heavy kick. I don't think you can do that to Ed, but I think only Ed, maybe Jamie. I'm pretty sure you can neutral jump Jamie's, but not Ed. His is only like minus 30 something. Instead of minus 40 or 50 or like most of the other ones are. But anyways, neutral jump heavy kick will work against almost every EXDP in the game, and it's just better. Okay, bad combo completion, and should have been into super. This would have also been a good place to use level 2, so neutral jump heavy kick, back heavy kick, level jump, level 2, and then etc. Alright, that's all good. Okay, this would have been a good place to drive reversal him. Alright, when you're at high drive gauge, when you have the opponent cornered, if they do something that's guaranteed drive reversal, like Ryu's forward heavy punch, just drive reversal, knock him down, and then take Oki again. When you have the opponent cornered, even if your drive reversal is something, even if you put yourself at very, very low drive gauge, it's still worth it if you have the positional advantage, especially if you have lots of super. So, always take guaranteed drive reversals to knock the opponent down in the corner. This, also, guaranteed drive reversal would have been good here. because you're probably going to get burnt out anyways, and this would have been a good place. Use the last burnout you're on your own terms. Your guaranteed drive reversal on this light Hashigeki, or even on the crouch medium kick, would have been good. Not here, but here. Do this, drive reversal as soon as you see the crouch medium kick. That would have been good as well. Alright, he gave it to you anyways. Missed the kill combo, obviously. You could have done a... Okay, here's the thing. When you're in burnout, you can't always... Because you're 4 frames worse on block, sometimes when you're in burnout, you cannot neutral jump punish EXDPs. I'm not sure about Ryu's. His is particularly minus on block, but whatever. Anyways, for safety, until you lab which ones you can or can't neutral jump punish on while you're in burnout, just take the guaranteed whatever. But yeah, you could have easily done this into like spin knuckle, level 3 would have killed. Alright, no anti-air, then throw tech. That was the worst decision. Okay, so this is the worst mistake. Well, not getting the kill combo, the guaranteed kill, worst mistake. Next big mistake, missed anti-air is bad, but this, throw tech here, really bad. Again, hold up back. 90% of the time, hold up back after you block those jump-ins or something. He could have really pulled this around, honestly, if he had, you know, leveraged his resources more effectively. Actually, I forget if he takes this round or not. I don't remember. I don't think he does. Okay. Yep. Nice mix. Alright, next. Okay, when he does this forward heavy kick really close, it's -4. Punish it. Practice punishing that in training mode. Stand jab, stand fierce, etc. Ryu's heavy kick punishable. Incorporate more throw during drive rush cancel. Okay, so when you do this, you always go into something like crouching heavy punch or whatever. Sometimes, especially if they're not interrupting this, instead of doing it, and especially if you do it off of crouching medium punch drive rush, sometimes just go for a straight throw. Before you even do a button, just do drive rush into the throw. Alright, next note, when you anti-air with back heavy kick, which, you know, sometimes it's difficult, but if you can get it, anti-air with back heavy kick, convert with like a drive rush stand heavy punch into like just a spiral arrow or something. The easiest spiral arrow to convert off of would be like a semi-charged, a half-charged heavy spiral arrow. It will properly delay itself to make it easiest for you. Okay, next note is, in case you didn't know, right, okay, this will be relevant later. Nice. Again, we talked about that. Perfect parry combo. Stand fierce, heavy knuckle would be usually the best. I think you drive rush, then get EXDP'd here. Yeah, so the EXDP is guaranteed. It's almost guaranteed if you drive rush forwards. The only way you can bait it out, there's a couple ways. One is to try to bait his reaction by just whiffing parry, which you do later. I'm not sure if you meant to do it or if it was a mistake. But you whiff parry to try to get him to react. But if that doesn't work, you have to do the full drive rush and then whiff throw. And then his EXDP will whiff. Or you can do drive rush into DI to armor through his EXDP. I don't recommend doing that as much, but it also would work. Alright, no anti-air, and then you also could have blocked that jump in, but maybe you were inputting your DP. No, it doesn't look like it. Okay, so this, yeah, this is fine. Alright, drop combo. That was particularly bad because the resources that you spent in doing this put yourself at burnout while you're close to the corner, and you also lost a huge amount of corner carry and damage you could have gotten from converting that more effectively. So that was big error, big error. Yeah. In this circumstance, it should be hard to come back, yes. Nice mix. Okay, you whiff parry there. I'm trying to see if you meant to do... Here, let me look if you meant to do that. I'm not sure. You don't input forward more, but... Okay, I'm gonna assume you meant to do that to try to bait him out, but anyways. Okay, that, this is more of like... This is like a kind of higher level thing, but it would have been... What the fuck? Alright, it would have been worth it to do a level 1 conversion there, or a drive rush cancel. Oh, it doesn't knock me out. Okay, thanks. Alright, neutral jump punish would have been better here. Light spiral arrow, medium uppercut. You didn't do the light spiral arrow, medium uppercut route. Fucking... What the hell? Okay, that, if it had been an optimal combo, would have killed. And you went for a throw here. This is something that I think you should practice in training mode very, like, thoroughly. When you go for a throw and the opponent jumps over you, or neutral jumps, you want to punish that very, very consistently. If the opponent jumps over your throw in the corner. So... That's fine. Alright, so he probably should beat you here. There's a number of circumstances where he could have gone into level 3 and made it very... Or CA, and made it very difficult for you to come back. I think you do win this one. Yeah, okay. Probably shouldn't have, if he had been more effective and gone for the kill better. Alright, this... that's good. I agree with that. The combo routing would have been, like, slightly better to go into, like, medium spin knuckle or heavy uppercut instead of this target combo. But, it's, like, a marginal difference. It doesn't really matter that much. No anti-air, and then you got hit, counter hit for throw teching again. So that's always hurt you. I don't think that one was close enough for you to stand jab punish it, but maybe it was. I'm not sure. Nice mix. Would have been worth it to drive rush cancel this stand light kick to go into to extend the combo into the corner. Alright, and when he's at this low of health, check him to... When you have more than one bar of drive gauge, check him with, like, stand heavy punch into DI to see if he will... Because he doesn't have the health to counter DI. So, make him prove that he can react to stand heavy punch DI with super or with, perfect parry. And yeah, that was a bad spacing on standing medium kick there. By pressing it twice in a row like that. And I think that's the last interaction, because he just kills himself here. Alright, you kind of got lucky a number of times on the opponent's mistakes. But yes, those are all the things. Anyways, let's go to training mode, and I will demonstrate some of those conversions that I was talking about, and some of those training sequences. So, alright, the first conversion that I was talking about, where you landed the cross-up jump light kick, about here, and you had like full drive gauge or whatever, you do something like this. A little bit closer. Yeah, you were about like here. That would have been optimal, but it's like, you know, marginal, but it would have been worth it. Alright, next conversion. You were about over here, and you landed a neutral jump, punish counter, whatever, and you had a level 2. And you did, like, that. I think you might have messed up by doing something like that. But anyways, this would have been the proper conversion. That's a 4-bar combo route with a level 2. It does 4,000 damage, and it would have built you almost another bar of super throughout the combo, and it would have taken you from where you were to the corner. All right, next conversion. You get another neutral jump about this far away at about this distance, maybe a bit further. Maybe we were at actual mid-screen. And then you could have got, and you also had level 2 or level 3 here. And you did something that did not convert into whatever. Anyway, so you could have gotten that meterlessly, well, with no drive gauge for level 2, would have done 4,150 damage. So that would have been good. Or you could have done this. 4,300 damage for 3 bars of drive gauge, etc. And then the next note was what? Punish EXDPs on block, etc. Yes. Reuse High Blade Kick. Let me just guarantee and make sure that that's consistently punishable. Like I said, at certain ranges I'm sure you could punish it, but yeah, it's going to be pretty consistently punishable. Yep. So light high blade kick, punish with crouch heavy punch or crouch heavy kick. If you're closer than that, maybe feel comfortable going for stand heavy punch, but whatever. Okay, full drive gauge, right, and then doing the baiting the EXDPs, so wake up reversal, EXDP. So if you do drive rush throw, you can bait these out. If you do drive rush charge hooligan, you can bait these out. This I think is risky. And if you do drive rush DI, you can bait these out. Again, expensive and risky. Alright, next is dealing with jump outs in the corner. So if the opponent jumps out of the corner, so put that recording on. And then practice anti-airing. Into that would be your best side switch option. To put them back in the corner. EXDP. Obviously you want to be ready for EXDP in a lot of these circumstances. If you're too close to the opponent, doing the crosscut input might be difficult, so just do a reverse DP input if you're very close like this. So yeah, when you're this close and the opponent jumps out, reverse DP input may be necessary. Your back heavy kick may trade with some jump-ins, which makes the follow-up conversion a bit awkward. The most reliable thing off of trades would be to do EX drill into level 1. That being said, that's more drive gauge costly than doing a drive rush conversion. So but still worth doing if you put them back in the corner. Anyways, so practice this scenario where they neutral jump. They either neutral jump or forward jump or do nothing or EXDP or some. Well, no, not in this circumstance, but yeah, anyway, well, do nothing or EXDP. So do this and then shimmy and then look for the options. So the easiest way to do this, in my opinion, would be when you walk backwards, first when you see him get airborne, start inputting a normal DP. So a normal down, down, forward, or forward, down, forward, etc. And then if you see that he's actually jumping forwards, transition your like mashing out of the DP input to half circle backwards. So start doing a normal DP and then just do and transition to a half circle backwards. Like so. So that way you can anti-air both of them. Like so. And then practice with that. Do nothing. Also do a normal throw tech as well. So add as many of these as you feel comfortable doing. Oops. But yes, this requires a lot of practice because it's quite difficult to handle every option. And dealing with the back jumps when you're shimmying like this can be difficult. God damn it. Oops. So yes, because some of the things you have to do here are pretty execution dependent and reaction dependent, and there's a multitude of things that could occur, practice the ever-loving fuck out of this scenario. Etc. Also, if you want to remove EXDP, because that's the easiest one to deal with, and add in tap parry. Like so. So, yes, practice this a lot. Like, a lot. As you can see, I'm not even that good at it, because I haven't played a DP character in quite a long time, seriously. So, practice that a ton. And, yeah. That will make you very, very lethal in the corner. Practicing that all the time. Anyways, did I have anything else that I wanted to? Oh, right. Back, heavy kick, anti-air. I just wanted to demonstrate that really quick, so when the opponent does whatever, and you get back, heavy kick, anti-air, in situations where it doesn't trade like it often does. Let's say off of that. Semi-charge, not a full charge like that. Semi-charged Spiral Arrow will give you the easiest sequence. That way you don't have to manually time a different one. And give you the most corner carry. Anyways, whatever. Right. So that will be that then.